Hello, good morning. Sister Kate here. Scarf, hat, glove. Beautiful background for you to look at. Ducks in the other side eating their breakfast. And I decided to speak out on the election. I really do try to remain neutral, and it's not so much that I don't care, it's that I don't want to declare something and find out later that was wrong. I don't like being wrong, and I'm not the kind of person who's built to manipulate other people by spreading disinformation and stuff. I tend to be the kind of person who wants accurate facts on which to base my life. So I've watched a couple of Right Side Broadcast Network live streams that started on, well, at least when I watched them after the election, with the Stop the Steal. And the people who are doing those videos and giving those testimonies and stuff really seem to believe what they are backing. Not to say that Antifa and them don't too, but I think the right side people are really just, people like average citizens who are, hey, something's happening, I want to get involved in that. So the latest one I watched one yesterday and one today. Today's is in Michigan. And the part I watched was a senator who was also an engineer giving testimony about the irregularities in certain counties in Michigan. And he was talking about the techie stuff, Ethernet hookups and everything. And I'm not going to tell you everything about it. You can watch it yourself. But he sure seemed to know what he was talking about. And his points were definitely there was something going wrong, that whatever the Michigan state elector people were supposed to do, they hadn't done, and what the people were not supposed to do, they had done, which is exactly what the testimony in Arizona showed. I watched a few people giving their testimony in front of a panel who talked about they were not allowed to view ballots, and they were supposed to be able to. They were told to sit down, and they were supposed to be allowed to walk around and look at a lot of things. So it just sounds like, at least this far, the election has been mishandled, okay? Again, it's for the court systems to prove illegal things happened. But here's the thing, folks. When you fill out an affidavit, that's a legal binding document. Like if your neighbor says, you ran into his barn with your car and you didn't, you can go into your sheriff and give a statement to be an affidavit that said I was nowhere near there and this is my testimony, and sign it, and it's legally binding. And so it's not a game. That is not a political ploy. You don't do that if you're doing a political ploy. You give a statement to the press, because that's not legally binding. That's your free speech. But once you file an affidavit, it's legally binding. So at least in Arizona and Michigan, and I think there was one other live stream of hearings, Pennsylvania, people are serious about it. You know what I'm saying? These people who watch the polls, or were supposed to watch the polls, or ballot counters, or whatever, they've seen problems, and they're legally following it. So I was thinking about, as Pastor and I were discussing it this morning, why would you all listen to me? Why would you listen to my husband? Obviously, I'm an older woman. I'm out here in the woods. I dress pretty unconventionally. Why would you listen to what I say? Well, firstly, Pastor and I are both college graduates. He's got an advanced degree. I definitely have a degree, and I graduated with high marks. So I'm capable of intelligent analysis and thought. If you look at my other videos, I'm interested in history. I'm interested in human behavior. And through my life experiences and so on, I've noticed trends and causes and effects. And my husband's specialty is political science, so he understands politics. And he also was 20 years in the United States military. So we know some stuff. And our parents worked for the government. We know things. We've been there, seen that, done that. And while these live streams are going on, there's also a story going around the internet about our special forces doing an op in Germany and seizing some sort of property, maybe computing things or whatever. I keep doing this because my hair is flying in my face and it distracts me. I'll try to stop doing that. Look at the lovely background. And that the CIA was involved in this op, and that the CIA director was taken hostage or killed. Bunk. You don't see Pastor or I addressing those stories because they're not worth it to us. They're not real. Our special forces cannot go into a foreign nation, sovereign, and an ally, and perform anything without the blessing and the instruction and the knowledge of that foreign country, especially a country like Germany or France, or European powers. Couldn't happen, wouldn't happen. And yet there's a whole part of the internet of people who don't know, have no idea how our military works, how our politics work, who jump on board and start saying, yeah, this happened and that happened, and I had a friend who told me, and there was some sort of a paper that I read that said this happened and so on. Stop listening to those people. Okay? They're flat out lying. They are flat out lying, and they don't know. So don't waste your time with that internet noise. The important thing that's happening is this election, because as Pastor said to me this morning, it's not Trump who's the only one losing out. It's your American vote, that you have a right, that your Constitution guarantees you. And folks, in a lot of countries in the world, people don't have that guarantee. It doesn't matter what their populace thinks. Elections are rigged and people are put into office that the general populace has no say in. In America, your right is guaranteed by the Constitution that you can vote. So that if this election stands without it going to court, then your vote was nullified. You no longer had a voice, and the liberal leftist Antifa protesters and Soros and all those people, Pelosi and Biden and everyone in that have denied you your basic American right. That's a problem. That's a big problem. It really is, because you should not stand for that. Let me just put it that way. And right now you have ways to protest it. You can write letters to your senators and your congressmen. You can get involved in your local political machinery to affect that. You can send letters to your governors. I mean, there's things you can do right now. But that's the important thing right there, not some fake, made-up special forces invasion. And it's a disgrace when people don't understand their own military, don't understand the military's work within the government, because guess what? The military cannot decide to do anything on its own. No general can take his army and invade another country. They cannot do anything without Congress telling them to. So it's just a disgrace. Get yourself educated, find out the facts, and stop following the noise, because the noise is there to distract you. You should know better. And don't follow people who claim to have military experience, who wear a uniform incorrectly, who don't have their hair and their uniform in shape. Don't believe Hollywood movies where they've got 10 guys in a movie and they're all wearing a different uniform and I've got this unbuttoned and this thing and I don't have my rank or anything on it. That is all fake. And it's a dishonor to the people who have served and are actually serving in the military to have their sacrifice made fun of. It's just wrong. So don't do that. Same thing with the CIA. No way is the CIA going to run an op in a foreign country like that without our government and their government knowing it. Okay? So don't do that. Now, back to the election. Like I've said before, it's going to come down to the court system. It should. It ought to. That's the way our system runs. If nothing happens, then it's a problem. All right. I think that's all I wanted to say. Bless y'all. I hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, yeah, I did want to say, I always, right? I always think I'm done, and then I always have another something to say. The Sanctified Supply. It's an Instagram website. I've posted it on the community section of my page. They approached me recently and said, could they do something for me? And I said, well, somebody had mentioned on a live stream they would like to have a hoodie. And I said in that live stream, I'll look into that. And I did. And I said, can you all do hoodies for me? And they said yes. But my intent there was not to do a hoodie with the same design because it doesn't look good on the front of the hoodie. And I don't think it would be as effective on the back. So I designed 2 or 3 different designs, a couple of them for a dude and one for a lady, with a patch on the front and a thing on the back, for my channel, and they are at Sanctified Supply, and I put links on the community. So if you're interested in a hoodie, go there. Now, they're different from Bonfire in that I think it's 5% of the proceeds per hoodie will go to Grindstone Ministry, which is Bear Independence nonprofit that does, community service. They have rebuilt homes for people. They have helped out people who were victims of a tornado or a hurricane there in Florida, Georgia area. They are helping out I don't know if it's a ministry, but an organization that is trying to not rejuvenate, not renovate, trying to help people who are victims of human trafficking. And so Sanctified Supply supports Grindstone, and if we buy hoodies, and I'm buying myself one because, like I said, I need a hoodie, then part of the proceeds of that will go towards Grindstone. And Bonfire reopens my campaign. I did not ask them to, but I guess it's part of their policy that if someone wants to buy your t-shirt outside of a campaign, they reopen it. So the t-shirts are available again on the Bonfire website. That's for any of you who wanted one. But they have to sell so many, and I think it's 11, 8, something like that, before they'll print them. So if your t-shirt, if you order one now and not enough people order it, it won't get printed. But when I open a campaign, and maybe I'll do it again next year or something, you can order then. So, don't get bladed out. I know for some people Christmas is coming up. I'm not in control of that. So that will just happen the way it happens. Anyway, I just want to make sure y'all understood that, and pay attention to the news. Be a watchman. There are important things happening in our country right now that may affect us all. So we need to be aware of them. All right. Shalom. Bless you.